Legend War here, and today we've got a Rating Your Doomstack video covering a Kroq-Gar Saurus-Gar veteran Doomstack. There's 18 of them, plus a Skink Oracle and Kroq-Gar himself. So, the Skink Oracle is obviously just there to use as healing, and these guys here just go in and smash. You know, these are single entity melee units, they don't really have spells. I'm not sure about how much equipment is on them, I can't really see. I can see a couple of items here and there, but I think for the most part, they're not super well equipped. Anyway, let's jump in here and see how it goes against these three almost full stacks of dwarfs. And then we can have a look at what equipment and see what he's done with them and see how he's managed to get this many of them. Let's jump in and see how it goes. Now, Lizardman's a faction that I haven't really looked that much into in Warhammer 3 so far. I took a brief look at them, saw that nothing significant had changed, and was like, okay, cool, but I'll just focus my energies elsewhere. I've always liked playing as the Lizardmen, but yeah, it didn't seem like they had changed at all since Warhammer 2, apart from like a couple of tweaks here and there. Because I did notice from the save file that he doesn't seem to have much territory. He's got like maybe 10 regions. Which on turn 130 is very low. That's not very many at all. So, I'm curious how he managed to get all these Saurus-Gar veterans, because you normally need a tier 4 building in order to increase the capacity of them. I don't know if they lowered that in Warhammer 3, I'm just not sure. Now, the enemy artillery will probably try to focus fire on the Skink Oracle. He does have Stalk, but we should try to keep him out of it as well. Alright, so missile resistance on these guys is 25%, pretty much across the board. Okay, just charge in there and see how we go. Actually, we should probably go a little bit wider and zigzag as we approach. It'll just make it a little bit more difficult for the enemy artillery to hit us. Just a little bit. just snake our way there, zigzagging. Don't be a Rickon Stark, you want to zigzag. Yeah, that's it. Some of the shots are hit. Gonna hit, but not all of them. Don't worry about charging into the front line. We got enough mass. He's gonna run right through it. That's it, and then we converge. Go for the artillery. You come round over here. Right, took a little bit of damage in there, but it's okay. Mainly aim for the artillery. Don't worry about their melee units. They're hardly important. Alright, let's have a look. So they don't all have the same abilities. So... okay, they've all got Foe Seeker, but they don't all have Deadly Onslaught. Okay, we need to get some control groups going so that I can sort this out a little bit easier. Because you want to activate it all at the same time, unless you want to press them all individually. Looks like just one of them doesn't have it. Okay. That's... that's... okay, whatever. There we go. That'll make it a little bit easier to just... essentially macro my my abilities there. When needed. Because, you know, a little bit of extra weapon strength. I've never really cared that much for Deadly Onslaught. Some people seem to absolutely love it. I don't know why. It doesn't last that long. Gives you a bit of extra damage output, but not heaps. Okay, this guy here is completely surrounded. And what happened to that dinosaur mass? Come on, move, 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 move. Give you some heals, but don't be standing in that... I'm gonna need to go swim out. This guy here just got isolated and stuck. Okay, bit of a blob starting to form, which isn't too bad because then we can pop down that Comet of Cassadora. And we'll get you back up to full health. Or close to it. So that looks like a good spot for that. It's not going to do much damage to our dinosaurs, which is why it's good to get them into a blob for that. So just that one unit there took an excessive amount of damage, but everyone else is fine. Typically speaking, you want to try to make sure the damage gets spread out evenly. Makes a lot better for healing. If there's anyone there with full health, they're not going to get any benefit from the life bloom. But yeah, a few items like glittering scales, Helm of Discord, Tormentor Sword, all that kind of stuff would be really handy here, and I'm not seeing any of them equipped with it. But they can't heal to full anymore, but that's okay. Still got a lot of fight left in him. Alright, this first army here is basically obliterated. Let's get you back into stalking, because it looks like the gyrocopters or something are shooting at... Oh no, that would be the troll hammer torpedo shooting at him. Should be able to heal from this distance. Still got plenty of reserves, and that's only costing 4 winds of magic, so plenty of heals we can do. So if you've got 100 winds of magic, yeah, you can get at least 25 casts of it, which is enough to heal some. Okay, I saw the artillery was starting to aim at the source, at the skin coracle. I think typically speaking, they're going to try to aim for your spellcasters, especially if they're on a mount. We need to go over there and get rid of those artillery. Can't you go back to stalking? Yeah, there you go. Does this one here have as much missile resistance as the others? Yeah, it does. Alright, we gotta get over there and get rid of this blob of artillery. Don't worry about any of this shit here anymore. That'll just come back up and catch up to us later. Right, get moving, get moving. There's also this ability here, Hand of the Gods, but honestly that's not particularly useful against the dwarves, so I'm not even going to bother using it. Alright, this guy here is now getting heavily targeted. Once again, try and zigzag as much as possible. Might help the odd shot not hit. This guy here is not in there. It's synchronized dinosaur marching. Come on, come on, come on, that's it. So how much damage do those cannons do? A fair bit, just on the approach. Yeah, a fair bit. So the max health of these guys is 8,600. So if they're only doing 2,000 damage, that's not that big of a deal. Especially considering these guys here don't seem to have any equipment on them. Now, I definitely don't expect him to have an armor of destiny on every single one of them. Not that that's impossible, but it would take you a very long time to do that. But, you know, if I'm seeing that he's got a lot of empty equipment slots on them, and plenty of equipment in his, like, treasury, then that's a bit of a waste. That being said, what we could be looking at here is... What's going on with this one here? It's getting slaughtered. How good these guys are without any equipment, so this isn't even their max potential. But again, I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't look like they've got much equipment on, but they might. It's just hard to tell from here. Yeah, those slayers. If they get surrounded and isolated by a slayer unit, they can just do a ton of damage. Shitloads of artillery coming in here, which is fine, easy to get rid of, but they do a fair bit of damage. Stay away from the slayers, don't even bother with that. Just a waste of time. Now, I'm not necessarily trying to camp over here near the reinforcement spot. It's just that we had to get rid of these artillery. They were causing too much damage. So we'll kill off the artillery and then go back into the fight over here and let these guys come in. Can't do anything about the flying units. But at the same time, those flying units just can't dish out enough damage to be of any serious concern. Come take out Thorgrim, maybe. Flame cannon's not the biggest concern. More concerned about things like the great cannons. Even the bolt thrower is not that big of a concern. Even though they are anti-large, they're just not very good artillery pieces. Just let them leave the battlefield there, that's fine. Alright, then we got Iron Drake, Trollhammer torpedoes shooting at us. We need to go and stop that. So, you can see that not all of them are rank 50, but you wouldn't really need them to get rank 50. Unless they actually added skills to the Sora Scar Veteran, which I don't see any reason why they would, because they didn't do that for any other hero. These Sora Scar Veterans will essentially reach their maximum combat potential at rank 20. After that, it's just putting shit into blue lines, which is not going to help them in combat at all. So that's something I really hope that they sort out soon with Game 3, is going through basically every single hero and lord and giving them some more skills, because a lot of them reach rank 50 and still have skill points left over. Like, even at rank 40, these guys here just had too many points, really. Too many points to spend. And what it does is it's making the hero cap increase to 50 almost meaningless. Only a few heroes actually make use of it. It's usually spellcaster heroes that have a melee line as well, which I don't think any of the Lizardman heroes get. They've got spellcasters, but they don't have a melee line. So an example of that would be the Giant River Troll Hag. It has a spellcaster line and a melee line, and other hero skills on top of that. That is really what Creative Assembly should be aiming for as the benchmark for like a really good hero skill line. Something I told them in early access. I said that back in Realm of Chaos as well. I said that if they wanted to design good skill lines for the new lords and heroes that are coming through, using the Giant River Troll Hag as a template was a good idea, because it's one of the better skill lines in the game. Because even at rank 50, oh god, look at this one here. Even at rank 50, come on. Man, they get stuck on these wolves. Yeah, at rank 50, they don't hit their maximum potential. Like, they don't get all their full skills. Right, even with the healer, we're still taking a fair bit of damage to these dwarves. And yes, this is an endgame crisis dwarf. So normally speaking, even at turn 130, Karazakrak is usually not pumping out these kind of armies, unless there's some sort of freak accident where they became super strong, which so far I haven't seen happen. Again, without the endgame crisis occurring. Got a few Sword Sky veterans very close to death. Still more reinforcements to come in. The flamethrower Iron Drakes are not that big of a concern either. It's mainly the troll hammer torpedoes. Those are the ones we really gotta watch out for. Don't worry about these guys here coming in. Let's focus over here. Again, not too worried about the Iron Drake. The regular Iron Drakes, just the troll hammer torpedoes. Although the guns over here, those are... So they haven't done too much damage yet. How about these? Okay, they've actually done a bit more than I thought. Alright, there's the army losses, so now we just gotta get rid of all the Slayers. Well, Crockguard didn't take much damage, but if we ever look at him, he's got a lot of physical resistance, a lot of ward save, so yeah, he's not likely to take much damage. He did seem like he was fairly well equipped. We'll have a look for the other guys. But you know, it handled it, and it said it was a close defeat. We didn't walk out of this with no damage, though. You can only heal so fast, and even then, there's only so much we can heal. And we've used up just about all of our magic. Alright, cool. So now let's have a look in and see what is going on with these heroes here. Yeah, bit of damage, but they handled it, and that was a large amount of force. With a lot of anti-large in there as well. Funny though that the each individual Saurus Scar veteran didn't really get that many kills. Like the Skink Oracle got more kills than most of them, and we only casted one damage dealing spell. But typically speaking, these are all anti-large, and there was only a handful of large units in there, so this is not something that they're necessarily going to be specialized against. It's going to be much better at dealing with like vampire accounts that are bringing monster spam. Especially considering the vampire accounts are notoriously bad at dealing with big monsters due to their lack of missile units and anti-large. You know, they can only combat large units with their large units, and quite frankly, the Lizardmen large units take a giant steaming shit all over the vampire count ones. Yeah, the best thing they got is a Terrorgeist, and I don't think a Terrorgeist can go toe-to-toe with a Saurus Scar veteran. Not on its best day. Alright, just gonna get through the center and have a look at him. So yeah, he doesn't have very much territory. But he may just have been focusing completely on just getting this one Doom stack going on. And that's fine, just play the campaign however you want. That's what it's there for. I'm just curious because you would need to have your capacity of these heroes at 18, and you would need 18 provinces in order to do that, I would think. But I'll have a look. So let's have a look at this. This is currently the only army he's got. Alright, let's have a look at equipment. So that one just has Relic Sword. Yeah, these are not well equipped Saurus Scar veterans. What's this? Armor of Fortune, that's okay. Nothing. There's a Talisman of Preservation. That's a good one to have amongst them, yeah. Because that gives them speed. So that'd be good for charging in, so that's a good item to have. Alright, let's have a look. What have you got? Well, you're using everything that you've got, so that's fair enough. You had a potion of healing that we could have used, but you had a healer, so it's not essential, but I'm just saying it's in there. For turn 135, that is a low number of items. I feel like this has been a very passive campaign. Let's have a look at his records and see what the hell's going on with his campaign. So, looking at it, starting off over here. You know, he expanded out. Crocodile's campaign has always been a bit slow, but I feel like you can move a bit faster in Immortal Empires. Expanded a fair bit. And then collapsed. Yeah, totally friggin' collapsed. Look at that. Right. Well, good thing it's not a rate your campaign video. So, how are you increasing capacity for Soroskar veterans? Let me have a look here. Oh, you can increase the capacity at rank 3 now, so you can do that with minor cities. Right. But you must have got the capacity up, and then it just fell straight back down again. So you were doing that through minor cities, and then... Oh, look at this. Recruit rank +2 for Soroskar veterans and Soros Old Bloods, faction-wide. Interesting. Also, let's have a look to see why Krokgar with this. I don't think he boosts them at all, but let's just have a look. So, reduced upkeep cost for the army. Unit experience gain for Soros Warriors and Cold One Riders. Okay. Okay, and what about his skills? Yeah, most of these just annihilating all the different factions. Yeah, you probably should have gone with Stand Your Ground, because that would have been good for some melee defense, because we were getting hit pretty hard. Going down all the blue line here, you really didn't need Wary. But yeah, I think going down to here, even though that the Soroskar veterans aren't going to make use of the red line at all, just getting this one here would have been more useful than a lot of these. It does give him some interesting... Some of these things provide something interesting. Didn't these used to provide leadership when fighting against these factions faction-wide? Ugh, they nerfed him a bit. Now it's just Lord's Army. Because these honestly aren't that great. Yeah. And then he went with the Blessing of Choktek. Okay. Would it not have been better to go with... that one there, Blessing of Tepok for the speed. Speed is really good, right? That could have really helped us out a fair bit. What are some other things that you could have gotten? Yeah, I probably would have gone with Tepok if you were going to build this army, just for the extra speed. Because spell resistance isn't that important, especially when going up against dwarves. But from what I'm looking at here, it didn't have to be Krokgar in command of this. It could have been any Soroskar veteran. Probably wouldn't have made any difference. If we go and have a look at the Soroskar veteran skill line... Sorry, Old Blood skill line. Yeah, they've basically got the same thing. You just get the Tepok there. It's not that much different from Krokgar's skill line. That's cool. Okay, yeah, just not having tons of items. Now let's have a look at the traits of them as well. So we got Pompous here. Pompous, disciplined, strong. A lot of Pompous. Oh, hang on. Yeah. A lot of Pompous ones here. And a few disciplined. That's good. Okay, well, but I did notice that the enemy weren't exactly fleeing en masse. Because, yeah, like, Pompous is good, for sure. You can see here that it's reduced to leadership. But the thing is, with Pompous spamming, is it's not really going to be particularly useful until you get the leadership down to, like, 20 or even lower than that. So getting 1 or 2 Pompous is good, but not of huge impact. You have to go full Pompous if you're going to do that. But there's a few disciplined ones in there, so I definitely think he was trying to get some good traits, and they just put in some other ones in there just because he just didn't want to wait around forever, and that's fair enough. The only other thing you could do is just go into a campaign and just, as you're recruiting disciplined ones, save them, and then save like 19 of them, and then just load them into a different campaign so that they're all ready to go right from the get-go, as soon as you got the capacity, that is. Yeah. So in terms of rating this, it definitely hasn't reached its full potential, and all this comes down to getting some good items. The fact that you don't even have a single Helm of Discord is kind of unlucky. You should have gotten one by now. But I also kind of feel like you just weren't finding many battles. Let me just have a look at this. How passive were you being in this campaign? Yeah, the fact you've only fought 88 battles in the entire campaign. God damn, man. That is a bad ratio. That is really bad. No offense. I'm not here to rate the campaign, but that is not a good ratio of victories. For Warhammer 3, anyway. Yeah, look, it has the potential to be a 10 out of 10 Doomstack, for sure, with this exact same combination. I'd either go full Pompous or full Disciplined, not half-half, especially against Dwarfs. Like, I barely even noticed that they had leadership debuffs, because they were still coming in pretty high leadership, these ones here. Right, because it only affects the ones that are in your region as well. You gotta be careful about that. So if they're standing outside the region, even if they're participating in the battle, they're not going to be affected by Pompous. So I probably would have gone with Discipline just to showcase the strength, because we've seen Pompous fan before. It's not going to be any difference. Speaking of which, let me have a look at this again. Yeah, enemy leadership -4 local region. That hasn't changed since Warhammer 2. That's fine. It has the potential to be a 10 out of 10 Doomstack, but with that, a number of equipment. These are things that you need to get, really, if you want to make this 10 out of 10. Glittering Scales, Brass Cleaver, Helm of Discord. You only need one of each of these, by the way. Tormentor Sword. There may be a few others, but those are the key ones. Oh, the Warrior's Bane. If you get all of those and keep them in a tight group together, you're going to debuff the enemy forces by a ton, buff your troops by a fair bit, so that you're doing maximum damage and they're doing minimum damage. That's basically all I could think of. And then just basically giving them armor so that they've got missile resistance and ward save wherever possible. Like I said, I don't expect them to have 20 Armor of Destinies and 20 Talismans of Preservation. That would take you a ridiculously long time to do that. Although it would be quicker in Warhammer 3 than it would be in 2, just because you can keep fusing items. And you can also save scum so that you can guarantee, eventually with enough time doing it, certain items. But again, I don't expect you to do that. Until then, it's like a 9 out of 10. And I think it was reasonably well built. Your campaign's in absolute tatters, but I don't think that's what you were focusing on this campaign, and that's fine. Anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. Hope you learnt something from this. Hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate you, and I'll see you next time, fuckers. Bye.